I'll introduce Bobbi first. I'm Dr. Carol Bishop. We're so excited to have Bobbi Claghorn here today from Becker. She drove all the way from North Atlanta, right?
Yes, yes.
And so we really appreciate her coming. And Susan and I have known Bobbi for years and years and years, so it's good to have her back here at Georgia Southwestern.
They're much older than I am. No. It's great to be here again. Bobbi Claghorn. I am with Becker. I wanted to tell you all before we even start, this meeting is about you. And those online, please hit the chat button because I do have a PowerPoint. I think they're kind of presumptuous to a certain degree. So some of this stuff is, no, I think you need to know this, but this is maybe something you don't want to know, need to know, or already know. So please ask questions, raise your hand, shout out, do whatever you need to do to ask the questions because we are here for you and anything you need to know. I hope we're going to take, my goal is to take the fear out of the CPA exam because that's what I've heard mostly from the college campuses this year. There was a change in the exam last year from the 2017 exam change, and 2018 has incorporated some of the 2017 exams. And there are still some changes in 2018 that we will talk about. Am I in the right place?
Yeah, you're good.
That we will I thought you were talking to me. Hi there, come on in. That we will talk about. But most people think, it's just the fear of this exam is just so hard and so difficult. And I am here to tell you, and I've had lots of years, over 30 years experience in this, there is not a single person in this room and online that cannot prepare and pass the CPA exam. Not a single person. And I can tell you some stories about people who weren't even accounting majors that wanted to take the CPA exam, and they prepared and they passed the exam. So please, I hope, and maybe we can show a raise of hands, those of you who are in accounting, it's hard work, right? I mean, this is pretty hard stuff. You're used to hard work. And when you have an accounting degree and you don't really complete it by getting that CPA license, it's really a detriment to you. So I do hope you guys will consider it. How many in here have thought about the CPA exam? Great. Okay, and hopefully we'll change some minds so you will think about the CPA exam. So this is some of the things we'll talk about. I've heard that, people are afraid of the passing rate. I'm here to tell you the good news about the passing rate is you all are accounting majors, so you're probably used to what? A's, B's, you're kind of perfectionists. I know you people. I know you. You're perfection. You want it done right because you do things right? So you're perfectionists to a certain degree. The great news about the CPA exam is you need a 75, close your ears. You need a 75, that's the passing rate on the CPA exam, a 75. And so keep that in mind when you're going through this. So we'll talk about the passing. Some people, of course, the exam's too comprehensive. We are here to take that fear away, I can tell you that. The changes we'll talk about, employment opportunities are amazing. And I'd like for you to kind of think about this just a little bit. Sometimes we think of CPAs as, debits on the left, credits on the right. They sit behind a desk and they crunch numbers all day, and that's kind of all they do. And if you want to do that, and God love you, if you want to do that, you can do that. I mean, absolutely, you can do that, and there are places for that. But the accounting world is just, I say every time Congress is in session, we're in business because there's always new laws and new regulations. And so the accounting world is just so much more than that. It's really, really communication. In our CPA practice, we have a CPA practice in Decatur. In our practice, basically, we kind of hit the button and the software kind of does the calculations a little bit, that kind of stuff. It's really about communicating to your clients their needs, what you discovered, what the audit might have said. So it's really different than what you might think. Also, if you're interested in environmental accounting, every corporation now has environmental accountants, and they have fraud. The FBI, whenever I'm at a career fair, the FBI and the accounting line, there's a mile long because everyone's interested in fraud, and the FBI is hiring. Oh goodness, it's just a global designation. But one really good news is you can be an entrepreneur. You can be an entrepreneur. if you want to work for someone, and we all, that's a good thing to do. You could work for someone and make a darn good living and go the whole way that way, whether it's a firm, whether it's corporate, whatever it is. But if you want to, and I can tell you the story because exactly what we did, you can hang a shingle outside your garage door and make a darn good living. Make a darn good living. You never have to work for anyone else the rest of your life if you don't want to. Never. And I was over at where was I? Georgia Southern, and I was talking about something, and we heard a knock on the door in this classroom. Knock on the door, and these kids come. Two students come in, and they said, "Oh, I'm sorry," because they saw the CPA stuff on the board. They said, "I'm sorry. I thought I was looking for the entrepreneurship class." They have entrepreneurship classes, but anyway, they do now. I didn't know that, but they do. The entrepreneurship class, and I stood back and I said, "This is it. This is it. If you have a live license, you can set the kind of life you want to live. You can set the kind of hours you want to have. My husband was at every soccer game, pretty much every soccer game, the ones he wanted to be at anyway, with our 5 children. They all played different times, but anyway, all 5 of the kids played soccer or something, some sport. So you can kind of create the life you want. So think about that. When you think about employment opportunities, it is, and teaching. Listen, these guys have got a good deal. They're excellent. But they got a good deal. So think about teaching. Governmental accounting, the Department of Audits. If you work for the Department of Audits, they'll give you a car. If you're an auditor for the Department of Audits, you get a car to go around in. So government accounting is great too. So there's just lots of stuff with accounting. Some people are afraid of the time commitment. I don't blame them. I mean, time is time. But I'm here to tell you, and I'm looking around this room. You guys are, take a deep breath. You're probably going to be working 40 years, maybe. Fortunately for 40 more. Fortunately for you, you're going to be doing something you love because you're in accounting, and you'll be able to have choices because you have your license. But let's just say you're going to be working probably 40 years or so. So you take the time and effort right now. Study real hard. It's not an easy task. It's not an easy task. But as I said, you all are used to hard work, right? You're used to hard work. You're used to hard work. And you just don't, you go in with the idea that I'm just not going to let the next person outwork me. I'm just not. For 6 months, you give it your all. At your age, 6 months, it may seem like a long time. Let me tell you, 6 months is nothing. But give it a good 6 months and you're set. You never have to take the exam again the rest of your life. I don't know, the doctors and the veterinarians and those others that hold a license, they got to take their exams over and over and over again. You never have to take it again the rest of your life. You pass one time and you get a couple of CPE, continuing professional education hours, which is real easy to do. And Becker, by the way, has that too. So you can just get a one-stop shop here. But you want to do that. So we'll talk about the application process. I have it here for you all. So if anyone has any questions about that, it's very, very easy. You'll go to the cpaexam.org and they'll have all the information on it. And if you guys want to write some of these down, we'll talk about some of that too, just as a resource for you. Sometimes you don't want to be going through these websites. I mean, some of them are very, very difficult. So I have easy, one-page application process, check, like your checklist, check. And you all will not have to do that. So I will send that to Dr. Robinson and Dr. Bishop for both of y'all. You guys can have that. So I'll make sure you guys get it. And those online, everything is digital so that you guys will be able to do that. So any fear of the exam I missed, or anybody have any questions about that? And as you know, I'll continue to talk unless you have some questions. Has anyone sat for a part? Okay. Oh, you guys are, it's going to be great fun. It's going to be great fun. I thought I'd bring this up just real quick. This is kind of just a side note as to why you want to do this. Why you want to do this? Well, number one, you're going to have a job. When you get out, you'll have a job. And as I said, if you don't want to work for someone, you can always work for yourself. You will have a job. There are, oh my goodness, if you can get of actual yellow pages. If you can actually get a handful of an actual yellow pages now, I don't think they have them so much anymore. But if you look in the yellow pages, I looked at the one in Atlanta the other day, there are 142 pages of lawyers. There are 432 pages of doctors. They all have licenses. You're in the league with the doctors and the lawyers when you have a license to practice. Guess how many pages there are of CPAs?
50. No.
8.
Wow.
8. Is this worth it? You betcha. You betcha. It's a matter of economics. I know as accountants we love economics, but it's a matter of economics. It's supply and demand. Supply and demand. That's why. 8. You know, so you got to do this. You got to do this. And I'm telling you, a world will open up. I've lived it. I've seen it. You know, a world of opportunity will open up for you like you have never imagined. And you beautiful ladies in this room, you know, I know when my daughters were coming up, you know, take care of yourself. Be sure you can take, you know, do the. This is the best way to be able to take care of yourselves. And you gentlemen are lovely too, but I'm just telling these ladies, you want to make sure you can take care of yourself. And this is the best way to do that. But it's interesting because from 2014 to 24, this BLS, which is the handbook of the accounting database, 16% employment is going to increase. And this is an average. And I'll tell you, you all, you're not average. I mean, do you think you're average? No, you're above that. You're better than 16% at Georgia Southwestern. And look at what the government is. The people my age, 75% of the people in government accounting, the auditors, the state government, all of the Department of Justice, Department of Transportation, all of those, they all have auditors, they all have revenue share. 75% are retiring. Some of those beautiful buildings in downtown Atlanta and downtown Americas and around the city, those people that are sitting in those big, nice big offices about this size, those are the offices you'll be sitting in. 75% of them are retiring. So this is the field to be in. As you can see here too, there was an 8% increase in graduates with master's degree with CPA firm hiring. I've heard a lot higher than that too. This is, like I said, on average. It's not really counting the Southeast. We're a little bit higher than that. And then you know the rest of it you can go on. Overall accounting is 81,000 accounting degrees were awarded in 2016. You know, that's quite a bit. But look at this one. This is the best one. Currently over 230 accounting job openings. That's an average of a job for 22 graduates. So this is the great business, a great field to be in. Everybody needs accountants. All right, so let's get down to the exam here just a little bit. Oh, I guess I've already talked a little bit about this. I love this slide. I love this slide because this will talk about the amount of money that you're going to make over just over having, say, an accounting degree. We talked about that 40 years. You know, they say on average, and there again, you guys are not average, you will make about $18,000 a year more to start, on average, with a CPA license than you will with an accounting degree. So you multiply that 18,000, not even counting for inflation or anything, that 18,000 times 40. So over a course of a lifetime, it's over $1 million. You know, someone asked me the other day, what does it cost to take the exam? And I said, I can tell you what it'll cost you to take the exam. It's about $800 it's a cost. These firms will cover it sometimes, but it'll cost you about $800. But let me tell you what it'll cost you not to take the exam. And if you're looking at $800 here and $1 million over here over a lifetime, aside from the freedom that it gives you, the freedom to choose what you want to do, where you want to live, it's amazing. And we talked a little bit about the 75%. That's not a Becker number. By the way, none of this is I'm not here to sell Becker, or this isn't a Becker number. These are AICPA and NASBA numbers. 75% we talked about are eligible to retire by 2020 in the government. So that's a great field. So you guys really, if you need any help too, if anyone needs any help with any kind of recruiting, if you've got a really good resume and you really want to take the CPA exam and you really want some ins, Becker has partnerships with just about everybody, but I think it's 1,500 accounting firms, the big ones, and then we have regional partnerships here too. But they're always asking us, do you have some students, you know, who we need a good culture. I was telling Dr. Robinson and Dr. Bishop about the culture in Milledgeville and then the culture here in Americas. I was with a KPMG recruiter, and they were saying, well, gosh, we don't really go down to those schools so much because we can't go all the way down there. There's not that many. And they said, but do you know anybody down there? Because we like the culture. You all are known, good people, hard workers, not entitled. I mean, you do your own, you pretty much take care of yourself. That's what they want. And they don't always come down. And so they'll call me and say, well, who's your campus ambassador? Kelly's going to be a campus ambassador. And I'm looking for others. But who's your campus ambassador? Send me a resume. Let me know. So there's other ways that we can partner with you to help you, because it's all about the student. It really is. And I know these two feel that way too. So it's definitely about the student. Any questions about this? Aren't you guys excited about being a CPA?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, goodness, it'll be great. All right, let's see if we can get this thing to roll here. Okay, so some of the steps, and this is a busy slide, and by the way, I will send this PowerPoint, well, you're not taking notes anyway, but if you were, I was going to say I'll send the PowerPoint slide to you guys so you'll have this for you, but you have to meet the educational requirements, which is exactly what you're doing. You're in school, you're working hard, you're making those educational requirements. Then, of course, you submit the application, which I have the information on one page, so you're not going to be scrounging through. You create a study plan. I think the next slide will tell you this. As I said in the beginning, there's not a person in this room with time and effort cannot prepare and pass that CPA exam. Not a person. It's all about time management. And we'll talk about that. But creating a study plan in your Becker software that we have a study plan already created for you, pretty much. You can put in and take out and delete and add and this and that and the other, but you can create a study plan for you that will keep you on a path. So if you're studying the financial section, it'll keep you on the path. Hey, come on in. Let's see. We're talking about steps to becoming a CPA. Then you'll receive what's called a notice to schedule. Have y'all heard of the notices to schedule? At the Prometric site, you apply for a notice to schedule. When you take this exam at the Prometric sites, you're not going to be the only ones in there taking a license exam. Every certification, you may be sitting next to someone taking their beauty shop test or barber test or life insurance or nursing. All kinds of tests are being held at the Prometric site. So you need to get your notice to schedule so you'll have your spot there. And then, of course, you take your exam. So I went through that kind of quickly, and that's kind of important. Anybody have any questions about that? Have y'all heard this? This is something that you are going to be doing this. Okay. How many in here are juniors? Oh, wonderful. So you can really plan. And then seniors? Good. And you can get they can get their hours here, right? To sit. They don't have to have a master's here. I mean, you don't have to have a master's for the exam.
They have to have the 150 hours to sit.
Yes.
They have to have 150 hours to be licensed.
Right, and that's where they'll need the extra hours. Okay, yeah. So you want to sit. The best piece of advice I can tell you. You want to sit for this exam as soon as you're eligible, which means as soon as you graduate. And as soon as you have those 120 hours. And in fact, as the law is written, you don't necessarily have to even graduate if you have the hours. There's a sheet of paper here. Her name is Letitia Newell. She is your best friend at NASBA. This is the lady who evaluates your records, your grades, your records. She does all the evaluating. If you're from another school, if you're from another country, whatever you are, she will do the evaluations. So you want to make sure you keep that, because if you try to call NASBA and ask for the Georgia coordinator, it'll take you 4 days to get anybody. And so you want to, and this is her private line. She says, I can give it out to the students. So she's just a great lady. She's come with me before, but that's a real good piece of information that you guys are going to want to keep and have. Okay, so I know that Dr. Robinson was just talking about the requirements. So you need 120 hours to sit for the CPA exam. And of those hours, you need 20 hours of upper level accounting, what's considered upper level accounting, 20 hours to sit. So as I said, you want to sit as soon as you're eligible. You'll have all that here, and you'll have the 24 business as well. So I put Ohio and New York because I had people ask me, everybody asks me about New York all the time. I don't know why they want to go to New York. I mean, I'm sorry if you're from New York, but it's like, have you seen
about Florida?
Yeah, or Florida. Well, Florida's not second. Have you seen the pictures of New York today? I mean, Anyway, but it's everyone. So I put that in there. But yeah, Florida would be a great place too. Although the jurisdictions are different. So Georgia is considered Georgia's jurisdiction, of course, and Florida's got a separate jurisdiction, which means there are separate requirements for each state that you go to. If you want to, you get your degree here and you want to practice in Alabama, you're going to want to make sure that you know what those restrictions are in Alabama. And on the AICPA.org website, you can find those restrictions, and also on the Becker.com/CPA, you can find that. And I will, like I said, I will definitely send this out so you guys can have that. But there are 55 different jurisdictions, so quite a few there. This is a real interesting thing, and I put the 2017 in there just so you guys could kind of see. But, we talk about in the beginning the fear of the CPA exam, but I'm here to tell you, write this down. The CPA examiners are your friends. They want you to pass. Sometimes they think, oh gosh, it's so hard that they don't even want us to pass. That's absolutely not true. As we showed you in the earlier slides, we need CPAs. You are in great demand. We need CPAs, and so they are your friends. And what they'll do, you have the certain times in the month where you can test and certain times where you can't test. And just to show you a little bit of how friendly they are. So January and February, it's divided into, these are called testing windows. I thought that's kind of cute, testing windows. Each quarter is a window, a testing window. And each month, the first 2 months of the testing window in that quarter, you can sit anytime you want. You go to a Prometric site after you've scheduled your notice to schedule. Go to the Prometric site, sign in, and you study. Let's just say you're going to start studying in December, and you're going to take your first exam in January. So you studied in December, you went to take your exam in January. You can take it January and February, and you can take it the first 10 days in March. But March is considered a dark month. These months are called closed months, but right now, because we need CPAs and the examiners are very nice people and they like you, they're going to give you 10 days in these dark months to test. So you can test September 10th. That's new for you guys. That's new. It used to be where the third month in each calendar quarter, you couldn't sit. And that's because of grading and testing and doing new exams. So that's one way that they have been, really nice to you. So that's kind of how it is. You have 18 months. 18 months. This is 12. You have 18 months to prepare and pass, to sit and pass the CPA exam. You have an 18-month window, they call it. But it's really not 18 months. Don't think I've got 18 months. I've got all the time in the world to take this. 18 months is a lot of time, right? Okay, well, you really don't. Because for one thing, you've got all these months that are dark. So you've got, 4, 5, 6 of them. You have the 10 days, but you've got 6 dark months. Not only that, if you take audit, let's just say in January, and you find out the end of January, grades are coming back real quick. You find out the end of January that you didn't pass, you missed it by a little bit, didn't pass, and you want to sit again in February, you can't do it. You cannot right now. You guys will probably be able to. We'll talk about that in a minute. But right now, you cannot sit for the same part in a testing window. So there again, it eliminates more months. So your 12 months is shrink, or your 18 months is shrinking. You see what I mean? And I was at Grant Thornton the other day doing an intern presentation, and there was a senior and the staff member in the back, and she said, well, I can tell you right now, if you're an intern and you work with Grant Thornton, you're not doing anything in February. You're not doing anything except Grant Thornton work in February. So in that case, those kids cannot sit in February either. So keep in mind that this 18-month window it may seem like a lot, but it's really not. And if you pass audit, let's just say you pass audit January 1st, that's when that 18-month window will start. You'll have 18 months from January 1st to take the next 3 sections of the exam, next 3 sections. So, you might take audit and then regulation here, and then you might come down here and take FAR, and you're thinking, gee, I took Becker. How hard can this exam be? They got great work, we're studying hard, we're passing. So then they kind of wait until down in here, and they take apart, and they don't pass. So they didn't pass all 4 tests in that 18 month. they have, not only do they have to repeat that part, they lose the first part they took. And the 18-month window is sized from the second part. Now that's kind of confusing. Does that make sense? Ah, I told you they're a cut above here. See, you're not average. But anyway, so that is the deal with that. So please, try to recommendation. You can do this. Recommendation is take, take one here, one here, one here, one here. Get it out the first 6 months, because if for some reason you don't pass, and let me say this too, there's no shame in not passing. I'm telling you, there's no shame. Lots of people don't pass. I told my daughter when she took the exam, she called me up. I said, this is not life and death. I mean, it really is not life and death. Now, it's going to seem like life and death, and it sure did to her, but because she didn't pass the first time. But anyway, but what you do is you create a cushion for yourself, so you can fill in those other parts that you don't take, because you're going to pass parts. All 4, maybe not the first time. Maybe you will. Lots, people do. Lots of people do. But you want to allow time. So, and like I told Sarah, my daughter Sarah, when she was taking this exam, she finally got her license, and I had to. Poor Sarah. I always pick on Sarah, but anyway, when she have 5 kids, I pick on her. But she, when she got her license, your actual CPA license is like your driver. It's like this big. But when you go to the award ceremony, you get this big, beautiful plaque. It's got all these things on there. And I told someone the other day, I said, my daughter. So it doesn't say Sarah Claghorn Robinson, CPA, just barely. It doesn't say that. It does not say that. And believe me, I think she got a 75, 76, whatever. But it doesn't say just barely. And so, again, perfectionism is nothing to write down, is your enemy on the CPA exam, because you don't have time. You don't have time to think, gee, Dr. Bishop told us to do it this way. Becker told us to do it this way. Dr. Robinson told us to do it. You don't, your CPA firm, this is how they do it there. You don't have time to be doing that. You do the homework in your Becker software. You do all, and you trust yourself. You come from great schooling. We were talking today about how consistent the accounting staff. This is gonna make me cry. I am just weepy here, but how consistent the accounting staff is here, and how much they care about you. And I'm telling you, you guys will do well if you put the time in. And it's not, like I said, it doesn't seem like it's not that much time in the scheme of things. So please, please. But does everybody understand that 18-month window and how it's so important to keep up with that, and how it's not necessarily 18 months, even though it says it's 18 months? You'll learn that in accounting. Sometimes things aren't exactly as they seem. We'll just say that. Okay. Let's see, what is it? Okay, so, and I know you guys know this, and probably this should have been an earlier slide, but there are 4 sections to the exam. They're 4 hours. Each section is 4 hours. So in your software, what you get with Becker, we have 2, what we call mock exams, or they're not really practice, they're mock exams. They're mock exams. And what those are after each section. So there's 2 in financial, 2 in audit, 2 in regulation, 2 in BPC. What those are exact CPA exam questions, simulations, and document reviews, because it's published. So we give you exactly, we're going to give you 2 of those tests, 2 mock exams. So what I would recommend you do, I'm kind of bossy, but I'm telling you what to do here. You lock yourself in a room and you sit down for 4 hours and you don't move, and you take those mock exams. You take, well, obviously one at a time, but you take the mock exam, because you want to be good to yourself. You want to be good to yourself. Give yourself every opportunity. I'm telling you, in life, there's not so many things you can control in life. I mean, there really isn't that many you actually can control. When you can control something, you take it. And you can control this. You can give yourself exam-like experiences. So you sit there, you don't move, and I'm telling you, if you guys ever try to sit for 4 hours without moving, it's not, you have to practice. It's not intuitive, at least, to just sit there. So you want to practice. On our software, with these 2 mock exams that you will get after each section, everything, it mirrors the exam exactly. Well, we have the answer button. You know, you're not going to get the answer button on the CPA exam. That's the only thing that doesn't mirror it exactly. We have the answer button. So you take the exam, you go through the whole thing, and then we'll give you the answers. You won't get that on the CPA exam. We tried to get the Becker logo on the CPA exam too. But other than that, other than the logo on the exams, it mirrors it exactly. So you want to take those practice exams, absolutely. We even have in the software progress reports. So you can take just snippets if you don't want to take the full 4-hour exam. Let's just say you're really great in consolidation, so you really don't want to study it too much. Because sometimes, you know, we study what we're familiar with, you know, and that's not, you want to study what you're not familiar with on the CPA exam. So we're going to go ahead and study, you know, what we're not familiar with. But you can take those practice exams along the way too. The great thing about and same thing with the CPA examiners, because they like you and they want you to pass and they're friendly and they love you and all of that stuff, they will give you, just like we will give you in our mock exams, we will tell you where you're weak, where you're strong. You're going to get a whole diagnostic. So after you take the actual CPA exam, because they're nice people, they're going to send you what's called candidate performance summary, which is like a candidate performance summary. It's a diagnostic, and it'll say, Kelly, you did great on this. You know, you need a little bit more work on this. This is where you need to study. So what you do is you don't panic like Sarah did, and you go back and you look at this and you say, gee, I need to study more in this section. So you go back, you study, you wait till the next cycle where you can sit, you take it, you pass, you're done. You're done. They are nice. I mean, how many professors are probably these two, but how many professors tell you exactly what they're going to test you on, give you exactly the structure, the format, the weighted average, everything. And then when you don't do something particularly right, or you didn't make your 75, they tell you exactly where you needed to go back and do it again. And you don't get discouraged. You know, you don't get discouraged. You get your grades back and you go, okay, well, that was a test, that was a run. I'm going to go back and I'm going to pass. I know exactly now what I'm going to do. But you will have a great advantage with Becker, because you will have what? Already taken the 2 practice exams, and you will already know where you're weak and where you're strong. So that's the advantage of being good to yourself and taking control of the situation, you know, where you can. So, any questions on this slide? Kind of drifting a little bit here. And this is just a whole lot of stuff here. I have in here, and we will send it online. I have it all digital too. And if you would prefer digital, let them know. We'll send it digitally. But this will tell you, these are frequently asked questions. I mean, if you want some good reading, and I'm serious, because this will change your life. A CPA license will change your life for the better, and that of your children that you may not even know you're going to have. It will change your life. I'm telling you, I promise you that. But this will tell you all kinds of good things, but it will also tell you what is in the audit section. So, and I have a sheet of paper going around too. This little sheet of paper here will also tell you what's in each section, the topics that are in each section, because the examiners are nice and they want you to pass, so they're giving you all of that ahead of time. And it will also tell you the weighted averages. Again, this is not Becker number, this is AICPA number. This is taken directly from the AICPA.org website, which I would really, when you guys get ready to take this exam, you really want to look at that AICPA.org website and kind of be familiar with things. And we can come back. If you guys are if you're getting ready to take the exam and you need some help with a study plan, I can come back and help you with a study plan. We could have, I don't know, an accounting day or something here where we can help you guys do anything you need with that. But so we'll go through these kind of quickly in light of the time. But this will just tell you, and you're going to be getting that as well in the handout here, so you'll see it. But that's what's in the audit. And it says exam is 4 hours. It says expect to study. Okay, Mike, don't freak out. Expect to study 80 to 100 hours for that exam, because you're going to be doing some homework. By homework, I mean you're going to be doing multiple choice questions. You're going to be doing simulations. The great thing about our software is our software is divided into modules. So we're in audit. So there's 6 sections to audit, I think. Yeah, 6 to audit now. 6 sections in audit. So it's divided in modules. So you'll have module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You will take there's a pre-test before you even start studying for audit, a pre-test, and it will have 4 or 5 questions. And if you answer those questions correctly, you can skip that section and you study the section that you don't know so well, which might be module 2 or module 3. So you're going to cut out that study time by a bunch, because I know what kind of education you guys have had here. So you're going to know a lot. You got to trust yourself. You know more than you think. You really do. And your gut, doggone it, your gut is good. I mean, if you think something, if you're looking at that and go, gee, that doesn't sound right. I mean, even logically, some of it's just logic. Just look at it and think, that just doesn't sound right. Go, I'm just going to do that. So that's audit. Another thing to remember, because the examiners are friendly and they want you to pass, they have also, in the audit, I think there's 66 multiple choice questions, and I've got it written down there, 66 or 72, one of those. But anyway, there's multiple choice questions in there. Of that, they have what's called beta questions or pre-test questions. So 20%, I should go down there and look, 20% of the questions that you are going to see on the CPA exam in audit, financial regulation, and BEC are pre-test questions, which means those are questions that the examiners are asked to see if they're good exam questions. So if you've done your homework, which you have, and if you've done the progress tests, and homework is the multiple choice questions and simulations, and if you've done the progress reports, and you get into the exam and you see a question that you have never seen before, and it is like way out, it seems to you, in left field, instead of panicking, you take a deep breath and you go, gee, that lady came down and told me there's 20% of these questions aren't going to count for or against me because they're beta questions. And so if that's a question that you see and you don't have any idea, you answer it. You would give it your best shot. You answer it, and then you move on. And I say you answer it. This is nothing. You've got to answer every single question, because it will count against you if it's blank. So, like I said, give it your best shot. Answer every single question, so it will count. But keep in mind, and of the simulations, there are 8 simulations in the course, in the sections, 8 in each of them. 8 simulations. 2 of those simulations are those beta questions. So keep in mind, when you're going through this, you say, gee, 2 of those are beta questions. Maybe I won't have to worry about that so much. Give it your best shot. Move on. Do not spend time. You don't have time. 4 hours goes real quick, but you don't have time. So just give it your best shot and definitely move on. Okay, so, and then we have it also for the financial. You'll see financial is basically, I mean, if you have lived through intermediate 1 and 2, and I don't know, do you guys have 3 here? Great. If you have lived through intermediate 1, 2, and 3, you can do very well in this section. So, and I know you have lived through it, but the same thing, 4 hours. This takes a little more study time because there's a lot more in regulation, in financial. There's a lot more topics. I was telling someone today, the CPA exam, it reminds me of the church song, Deep and Wide, but it's wide. There's 144 topics. So you don't want to go real deep in any one topic. That's why you need a review. You're learning all that you need to learn here by the best, and you're going to retain all that. You just want to review what is on the exam. So the CPA review providers, we take, everything's published, all of the content is published. I gave it to you right there, what they're going to test you on. We take that, we go through it, we analyze it, we give you the questions. So that's what you need to do with that. All right, and then let's see, we got regulation, taxes, we love taxes. Regulation, this is the one that's changing. Someone asked me, oh gosh, the Trump tax, whatever they call it, Trump, I don't know what it's called. But anyway, will that be tested? And any kind of proclamation or testing or taxing can be tested it won't be tested within the first 6 months of the date that it's done. It will be tested afterwards, but they're not even going to test this new tax law until January of 2019. They really could test it in July based on the ruling, but they're going to wait till 2018 to let everybody get involved. So that will be you guys. You'll probably have that, but we'll be well prepared. And you'll be well prepared. Let's see, so same thing with the BEC. BEC is kind of interesting, and I know you've got a great professor here who teaches some of the cost and some of the, information systems and all that kind of stuff. But, BEC is a little bit different. There's economics in it, just kind of a free-for-all. So it's an interesting topic. Same thing, a little bit less hours. I put this in there again because remember, 75, that's a passing score. I mean, that's exciting, 75. And so, as I said, don't let perfectionism be your enemy. Keep doing it. Okay, we'll move on here real quickly. I just wanted to say, this one, BEC is testing on communication. There's a communication tab. And as I said earlier in the program here, accounting is really communication. It's a people business. It's not just, and I said, you can be alone if you want, but it's really a people business. But they're going to test you on communication. And so when you get to this tab and you get to this communication, you don't even have to answer the question correctly. I mean, they're not looking for the answer. They're looking for no jargon, no bullet points, no, I found out what LOL meant, no LOL, whatever, none of that stuff, no, any of that. Good, solid English. So, a paragraph is what you would send to a client. You're not going to send, bullet points and different things, and certainly not jargon to a client. So that's what they want you to do. So you'll have plenty of times to practice that in the software as well. Let's see what else is on here. Oh, this is great. This is great for you guys. This is great. Okay, so right now we talked about that 18-month window. Well, because they like you and they want you to pass, they are thinking, the examiners it's in the works, are thinking of coming up with a 24-month window. So that will make it easier. 24-month window. It's on the table. We thought it would happen in 2017. It didn't. So we don't know if it will happen in 2018. It probably will happen when you guys are sitting. So you can probably bet that that's going to be a 24-month window, wherever that is on here. And then those 10 days, they're going to extend those blackout days to 10 more. So they're going to do that too for you guys. And remember I talked about how if you take a part in early January and you find out you didn't pass and you can't sit in the same window, that's going to go away. That's going to go away. So you're sitting, when the window's open, you got to jump. You guys are sitting at a perfect time. You are sitting at a perfect time to take the CPA exam. Let's see, what does that say? Increase in the overall time frame. Yeah, we already talked about that. Okay, so this is kind of Becker stuff, but we are the leader, so we have to say that. I will say this, all the review providers are very good. We're the oldest and largest, and we've done it for the longest time, but they're all very good. I could never say anything bad about any of them. What we do have to offer, though, we are competitive. Sometimes, people think Becker, they're so expensive and this and that and the other. We like to say you get what you pay for, but we now have it half off. So our retail was $3,000. It's now half off, and we have it as a courtesy to these two. We're doing it for Georgia Southwestern. So, but we're doing it. You get all 4 sections. You get flashcards, and you get what we call the final review. That's in here, so you'll see that. The flashcards, the little flashcards, you can do it digital, mobile, or we have flashcards. But they will turn your idle hours, your idle minutes, when you're sitting down there and you're just kind of idly doing your idle minutes into those study hours. That's what they'll do. They'll turn idle minutes into study hours. So you want to get those flashcards, but it's all included. You can get it, it's $110 a month if you want to there's no financing fee, it's 0% financing. But so there's ways of paying for it. Plus we have, some scholarship offers and stuff that we can talk about. But so that's the little Becker thing. This right here, this is some of the software. It kind of show you what it will look like when you get your product. But this is that pre-assessment, which is what those tests that you take, so you don't have to study the whole thing. If if you already know it, you don't want to study it again. So and then we talked about the progress tests. Let's see what else is on here. And the navigation. Okay, so it goes on 3 computers. So you can put it on if you can see, and you guys got really good eyes, I've discovered, but you can put Becker on your iPhone if you want, or Android, or whatever you have. We have a study planner. We have those 2 full, we call final exams, but they mirror the exam. Because can you imagine getting to the Prometric site, sitting down for the first time and not understanding the functionality of the platform? I mean, because they give you all these directions and all, this and that, and you go from here to here to here. You're going to have already read that because that's going to be in those 2 final review exams. So you're going to be way ahead of the game on that. In fact, you're probably going to be sitting next to someone and, when they shows up with the directions, you're going to just go, oh, directions, click, move on. And the person next to you is going to go, well, they're going to fail because they didn't even read the directions. And little do they know that you got to memorize practically. So I'm just saying, but you want to definitely take those 2 exams. Oh, and they're different too, by the way. They're not the same 2 exams. So, and then we talked about the final reviews. Those are just a little bit extra studying. You get those with this deal too as well, the flashcards and multiple choice questions. This just talks about the package, what you guys get. I mean, 7,200 multiple choice questions. That's a lot if you want to do that. So. Okay, and then we have any format that you want. So we were talking this afternoon at lunch. We have, of course, the online, which is strictly online. You sit, you're online, you're on your own, you do it on your own. Great, that works for lots of people. We also have live classrooms around the state. We have cohorts. If you want to get into a cohort, which is an online, but it's part of a structured online. There's threaded discussions. There's, there can even be quizzes on that one. And you can also take this and get graduate credit as well. If you need some extra hours in graduate credit, if you don't want to go to the graduate school, you can get 9 semester hours of graduate credit by taking Becker. I'll give you some information on that. But our latest and greatest, and this is kind of cool, we just came out with, it's called our Live Online. And I have some information up here about our Live Online. So what it is you have a screen like this, you have a classroom. They're actually doing a live class. There's a professor doing it, he's doing a live Becker class, there's an audience, whatever. But you're streaming it in on your computer. So you're online, but you're looking at a live class. The great news about the Live Online is you can chat in. So if you have a question, you can put it in, number 1, and we have 6 CPAs on staff during this Live Online that will answer those questions immediately. So if you're in a live Becker class, I mean, those 3 hours, it clicks. There's no answered questions in those 3 hours. But if you're on a Live Online, you can answer questions. So that's another way to do it. We have a fast pass, which you do over a couple of months. We have an intensive, which you take the whole 4 parts in like 6 weeks. It actually happens. And so we have all those. So there's lots of ways of taking Becker. So we try to, the right preparation in the right way. Oh, that's kind of nice. Okay. Oh, and I just talked about the Live Online. That's pretty much it. It's the same material, same everything, but you're able to answer those questions. And then you can always sample. I tell them all the review providers are good. They're all good. And I'm sure they all give you, I know some of them only give you a 2-day video. But Becker, you can have the entire Becker product, give it a shot, try it for 14 days, 2 weeks demo, complimentary demo right there, and try it out. So be sure you do that because, you might learn in different ways. So you might want to make sure that you know which review provider to take. We hope you take Becker, but they're all good. We also, like I said, it's my age. We're like in the cloud. I'm like, we're in the cloud. Okay, well, we're in the cloud. So you guys probably know what that means, but we're in the cloud. And we also have a game. We have a game app. So, my grandson tried. You can make money on this too, by the way. I'll have to take about that. But, okay, so we have a game app. So to do your homework, which is kind of fun. Remember, the test is multiple choice questions. It's just homework, the CPA exam. You do it on an app, on this game app. And so you form alliances, you build empires, you do all this kind of stuff by answering the questions correctly. This will count toward your homework. I mean, you can spy on each other. That doesn't really suit me, but hey, people like to spy. So anyway, you can do that. But it's kind of cool because it's just another way for you millenniums to enjoy these apps and different things. And I think that's pretty well covers it. I'm pretty sure that was the last. Yeah. Let me just tell you a little bit about what we have in those online. We have everything digitally. So we have a brochure here that just talks about pretty much everything we kind of covered, but in more depth and more detail. Talks about who does our teaching, a little bit about, this is mostly about Becker and what we do and what we cover and what extra help we get. We have a 24/7 support line. You can contact me anytime. You know, you have my email. Yeah, you have my email there. If you need any kind of resources that way. This is one of those mock exams. So, you know, how many tests have you guys taken? A few, right? A few. You know, you got to look at the CPA exam. It's 4 more tests. And not only that, they're going to tell you exactly what they're testing you on. They're going to tell you exactly what the average, the weighted average is, the structure, the content, everything. They're going to tell you everything. So if you take one of these mock exams, these are some actual exam questions with, of course, the answers in the back. You know, first, the exam questions, and, you know, and just look and see. You'll start answering them. You'll go, you know, gosh, I can do this. You know, it's a question at a time. And, you know, you're lucky. When some of us were taking the CPA exam, it was a 3-day event. And it wasn't just audit. So like right now, you could study for audit, just audit. When some of us were taking the CPA exam, everything was mixed. You might have an audit question, you might have a tax question, I mean, it was crazy, 3 days. And so, you know, you're gonna look at this and you're gonna say, this is just this piece by piece, part by part. You know, actually, it might be a little disadvantage, the fact that you can take it on demand, because you cannot procrastinate. And you know, it's between you and your gut. You just got to do this because you know it's the right thing to do for you. You know this is the best profession for you, and you know what the advantages are to it. So you just have to put, you know, get a schedule, do the study plan, stick to the study plan. I mean, life happens. If something happens in between times, you know, do something different. I was at that radio school in Athens, and I was doing some study planning with some of the students up there, and I mean, it was like 20 minutes I was with this really good-looking kid, really nice guy, you know, and sitting down there, and finally we went through 20 minutes of his study plan. We had a perfect study plan for him, perfect study plan. And then he tells me, true story, then he tells me, oh, well, I forgot to mention, this is true, I'm getting married in June, which was one of our study time. I'm getting married in June, and you know, I guess I could take it with me on the honeymoon, and I guess I could take my books or whatever. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You know, I don't think she's going to like that too much. But anyway, so to make a long story short, we redid his plan. But I mean, life does happen. But you got to be real with yourself. If you're getting married, you don't want to start studying. You don't want to study on your honeymoon and study during your married time or whatever. You know. That would not be the best time, although I guess you could do it. But anyway, and then this is the frequently asked questions. So this is the one that's going to tell you everything about the CPA exam, the structure, the content, what each section is about. I think I showed you a little bit about it, but it'll go into more detail here, but it'll talk to you about what to expect at the Prometric sites. I did a test drive. I recommend that, by the way. Okay, so before you go, remember, those things you can control, you need to control. Before you take the exam, go to a Prometric site, see what it's about, because I'm telling you, and you can do what they call a test drive, so they'll put you through the whole thing. They fingerprint you. Yep. If you have these earrings, probably wouldn't, I don't know. You couldn't take these earrings in. You can't wear a sweater. They pat you down. It's worse than TSA. It really is. They make sure, you know, so be prepared. But you have, you know, get in there and take it, because the little cubby holes are really kind of tiny. I mean, you want to just be prepared. You know, practice, practice, practice. It's kind of like when the kids play, you know, football. They practice all week, but come game day, it's game day. They're not practicing anymore. They're gaming it. So you want to do that. So that's what's up here. Of course, the 50% off is this brochure right here. I told you about Letitia. Her number is on here too. I thought this was kind of cute, and it's easy and it's really nice. I got this from the AICPA when I was up there visiting them. It's a roadmap to becoming easy for me to do. A roadmap to becoming a CPA, and it's kind of cute. So just follow the steps, follow the guide, and that'll kind of get you along. Those websites up there, thiswaytocpa.com, it's a great site. It's just a great site. And the Becker site, of course, NASBA.org, you want to look at that. That's the National Association of State Boards of Accountancy. Those are the ones that will evaluate, at least in the state of Georgia, your stuff. So, I've talked a lot. You guys are supposed to be asking questions, supposed to be about you. Did we do any good? Yes, good. Any other questions? I'll hang around for a little while. If you have any questions, just let me know. It's a pleasure to come in. I'll do the raffle if you guys.
I don't think everybody's filled out the
Oh, okay.
card yet. There's a card.
Yeah, whoever needs a card. Yeah, and I got yours, right?
Yes.
It's in there.
Yeah.
Did you get a card ready for the raffle?
Bobby, is name and email enough?
Yeah, name and email's fine. It's just for a raffle. Name, email. Nice and neat. Put a dot on if you're getting married in June. Thank you. I could have just wrung his neck. I'm like, are you kidding me? All righty, here we go. Let's give it raw. No, not oh, okay.
And then y'all be sure you sign the sign-in sheet too. Where is that?
Hey, I'm right there. And you give credit. And you guys, I want to encourage you to keep up with this accounting club or accounting group or whatever you guys call it, because you're here to help each other. You got to help each other in life. I'm telling you, you really have to help each other. And it'll be a lot more fun studying together and encouraging each other. Your VEC book?
Oh, yeah.
I got you a VEC book.
Oh,
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
I passed it.
I know you did.
You want to drop them in here?
You need to be up here talking about it.
I don't want to, you can't pass again.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You missed the fun and games though, so. Okay, I think, did we get them over there, guys?
Did everybody put their things?
Two still filling out.
Okay, two still filling out. You guys be sure to come and get these, and if not, we'll leave them, and then I'm gonna be sending you some stuff to take in the comments, and we need to update. These are the new frequently asked questions. The ones in there are a little bit old, so. But you know, debits are always on the right, credits are always on the left, so it's not that different. And the exam, don't let them scare you. They'll say, the exam is changing, the exam is changing. I mean, the exam is always changing, and it's always changed. And so it's just a matter of, doing that. But, all right, so who's gonna draw? Let's have you down here. Yes. You can shuffle up and shake it up. This is for a free Becker course.
A lot of responsibility. Nikki West.
Nikki West. Yay, Nikki West. Okay, for Nikki West. Excellent. So I will be sending you information because what year are you?
senior.
Oh, perfect. Okay, either way, but we'll make sure you get everything you need. Everything you need. Okay. Any other questions? And I think that's it.
Thank you, Bobby, so much.